2023 is proving to be an inflection point in human history as science produces breakthroughs with the potential to reshape our everyday reality in unprecedented ways. And that relentless march of progress is accelerating, with each breakthrough fueling the next, creating a compounding effect of rapid advancement. But what does this all mean? Are we headed toward a utopia? A dystopia? Or is all of this just a bunch of hype? And what should you be doing about it? How can you prepare for this wild, uncertain ride into the future? When we talk about transformative AI, we aren't talking about the narrow AI systems like self-driving cars in the ancient past. We're talking about generative AI.
Excuse me? What do you mean by that?
The kind of AI that can generate human-like text, create unique digital images and video, and even compose music.
Please clap.
But really, the driving force behind all of the excitement, terror, and suspense is the humble large language model. This is the kind of AI that is already starting to show signs of AGI, artificial general intelligence. This is the one that can control the other AIs and has the potential to fundamentally reshape our daily lives, our economy, and even our very identity of what it means to be human. Google's up-and-coming AI system, Gemini, currently in training as of July 2023, is on track to outperform GPT-4.
While still early, we are already seeing impressive multimodal capabilities not seen in prior models.
And so if you look at this rate of investment, this nexus of just insanity, money, science, data, all of it coming together, my inevitable conclusion is that, it's going to go somewhere, right?
There's a future coming at us very fast. But what kind? A peek into the AI systems presently in widespread use, like those driving social media algorithms, can offer us some insight. Their underlying objective is to maximize your time spent on the platform. It does an incredible job of optimizing that metric. Problem is, it learned that it can do that very effectively by promoting highly emotionally engaging content, especially negative emotions that divide us into tribes. That is really effective at getting people to watch and engage. But if we just look at the AI itself, we're ignoring a big part of the overall system. The real goal isn't watch time or engagement. It's maximization of profits for the corporation that owns the platform.
Brief definition for anyone who's not familiar with market externality. As you said, there's something that you get that you didn't have to pay for, or the payment is offset to the future or to other people.
In the case of social media, our mental health and attention spans are the real payments for these services. When AI systems don't understand what they are actually doing, when their values aren't aligned with human values, it can lead to massive unintended consequences. And as AI grows to be more complex and more capable, what the AI understands and how it achieves its goals start to matter a lot. But I'm not going to start describing a cyberpunk dystopian 1984 future. Pop culture has done a great job at drilling that narrative into our collective psyche for decades now. I think a better story, and one that gives me much more hope, is one where we all come together and figure out exactly what it is we want and how to get the AI to want the same thing.
So the idea that I had, and I started working on this several years ago, was to take those axioms, those heuristic imperatives that I came up with, and rather than just having a model that is trained to predict whatever is going to get the best response from a person, let's optimize it for these universal principles, these post-conventional principles that will actually focus on what is actually good for humanity.
When you start diving into the world of AI, you'll find a few different types of people. The doomers, the deniers, and the optimists. Your worldview, your unique perspective, colors the solutions and ideas you come up with for the alignment problem. One solution to the problem, driven by a pessimistic outlook, is to pause development until we have a way to precisely and scientifically prove that an AI has humanity's best interests in mind. This will require a number of breakthroughs in young scientific fields, like mechanistic interpretability. The deniers, on the other hand, they're just gonna keep on doing what they're doing. But the hopeless optimists, this is the worldview that I want to talk about right now.
You just kept getting back up? You just don't know when to quit.
Huh. Well, never thought of that as a good thing.
It's a great thing.
If we can solve the alignment problem, if a utopian society is in our future, it's the optimists that will give it to us.
The definition that I came up with for utopia is where we have a high standard of living globally for all people, we have a high degree of social mobility for all people, and we also have a high degree of individual liberty for all people.
And to really know what concrete steps you should be taking right now, which we'll get to in a minute, you really need to understand how your perspective affects your reality.
Daniel Kohlberg came up with this model of moral development. What he discovered was that humans go through three overarching phases of moral development. So the first phase is what he called pre-conventional morality, which is you learn not to do something based on consequences. This is what small children do. You do something bad, you get put in timeout. Punishment, cause, effect, really basic. The second phase is conventional morality, which is basically social control. You go along to get along. These are the rules that my social group, that my family expects. These are the laws of the land, that sort of thing. And so you kind of appeal to law and order as conventional morality. And this is where most people get. But there's a third phase, which is called post-conventional morality, which this is the universal principles that you might eventually arrive at.
Out of this complex landscape of differing perspectives and approaches, David has proposed an innovative approach, the Gato framework. This framework, grounded in post-conventional morality, offers a set of guiding principles for AI development and use. Reduce suffering, increase prosperity, increase understanding. Now, you people watching this video, you're smart. You'll notice that I just said 3 things, not 1. One of the key ideas of the Gato framework is the optimization of multiple goals.
If you give a machine these goals, and it's not just one at a time, because obviously if you say reduce suffering, the best way to reduce all suffering is to eradicate all life. So that's obviously not ideal. Back with GPT-2, one of the first experiments I did was I trained it to reduce suffering, and then I asked it what to do about chronic pain, and it said euthanize everyone with chronic pain, and I said, well, that's not exactly what I meant. So back to the drawing board, and I realized that you actually need multiple goals.
But as I alluded to before, the goals of AI systems depend greatly on who controls the system. That's why the Gato framework is built on multiple layers to effect change at each level of our human institutions, including taking into account corporate and national interests. Because if we don't change the incentives at those levels, it makes it much more difficult to align goals on the technical level.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it.
So how can you prepare for the great unknown when we don't even know what it is we don't know? Well, I could tell you things like learn prompt engineering, how to talk to the AI to get it to give you the results that you want, which is certainly a valuable skill. But the real answer, like most things in life worth pursuing, is extremely difficult. It's realizing that there is no curve to get ahead of here. We're all in this together. If humanity survives this century with an outcome that we view as desirable, it will only be because we found a way to work together and trust each other in a world where no one can be trusted. Facing such extreme challenges can feel very daunting. How can a single drop in a vast ocean make any sort of difference? The first step is realizing you are not a drop, you are the ocean. And when we work together, we can move mountains. If you really want to survive the intelligence revolution, you need to wake up and participate in the creation of our reality, of our future. Check the links below in the description for ways you can get involved right now. But how can we all work together? Really, all of humanity, in a systemic way? That seems very unrealistic. To understand that, you should watch this video next to learn about democratic AI and the role decentralization technologies will play in our future.